Hello, this is one of these special vlogs, and basically this is a reference vlog, and if you can't tell it quite yet, let's try this. Right. Okay, so for those who didn't get it quite yet either, I'm doing a Totoro reference. My neighbor Totoro reference vlog. So this is an art book, and I spent quite a long time um, going through it really and drawing pictures from it and drawing inspiration for different craft projects that are like closely related to Totoro. It might not be everything that's related, but basically what triggered my train of thought might necessarily be. Um, if you notice, there's a couple of stickers still because there were a couple of pictures that I was like still keen of considering drawing. Uh, Big ones I see there are like roads for some reason. I thought it wasn't quite directly relevant, so I missed them. But I got this Totoro book gifted by my sister, and I already had a deluxe edition, like a collection for it, anyways, which included the book as well. And I thought this would have been a wonderful one to start with. Now it took me forever to film, and therefore the other one was released. The audio one was released first because it was a short one, and Via being delayed with this one. So it took me a good month to even, go through all of this. It's a slow built vlog, but I hope you get to enjoy it. So please join me on my little crafting journey.
Let's enter the Kusakabe family house. So it's a pivotal point in Totoro. Is really just moving in, decluttering, unpacking, finding the local spirits, getting to know your neighbors. The attic is one of the places that girls explore. The scene opens with a found acorn, and I thought acorns were just a must for my art craft to reference Totoro. So I made these little but supposedly macrame ornaments, right? But I realized maybe I should stick to the skills that I'm more familiar with because it didn't turn as I expected. So these were supposed to represent acorns, and to be honest, it looks kind of like children's toys. If the top wasn't clay but wooden, wouldn't you think it looked like a children's toy? But let's persist with this. And this is the final layout, and I made the board as well for this. It's all about trees and acorns. Look like Koroks.
So my train of thought gets really weird sometimes when I'm thinking of like, oh, what about soot sprites? Can we, girls clean a lot in their apartments? Let's do some cleaning. So that's one of the things where it got a bit weird. The soot sprites.
Speaking about the attic, I can't not mention the soot sprites and the mold. The dark black mold that grows on my windowsills and regrows back reminds me of soot sprite. Girls in the store spend a long time cleaning, cooking, and doing housework, so we should do some too. Let's clean it. Now, this is what I call is much better. Some of this is not a mold, but wall paint coming off. I don't know if you can appreciate it. It's just basically bottom layer, kind of showing through, which is sad. But I'm just trying for these impossible spots. I'm just trying to see if I can like soak them. But even then, this looks so much better already.
I hope I hope you forgive me the exposure to, our multi windowsills and little, not a pretty side, not a romanticized side of living, let's say.
The next part is obviously self-care and the big bath scene. So let's do that as well. Let's pause for a bit. I wasn't quite content and wanted to make a little miniature for this bath scene. All the little components move. So let's introduce you to little Totoro bath. We have a little Totoro, but let's start from the beginning. These are just little accessories like little duck, slipper, a scrub with some foam on it, right? And knit towel. Now the actual hook and the towel can be removed. The hook cannot, but like the towel can be removed with the hook, and most of the parts are secured apart from the little lids. You can actually take off the lids, and I put little foam in there as well, and we can put a sorry about guys, I had to put on the lights so we can see, so we can put a little Totoro on the bath. So here we are, the Totoro inspired bath. Don't know what you feel about it, but yeah, I mean the light does not help, but also darkness does not help either. So here we are. What can reference Totoro better than the growing scene? So I thought that we could do one of these little grow yourself kits. Despite the season, I picked up a magic bean. Look at this little heart on it. However, it's much better effect if you used mint. I had mint before and it sprouts wonderfully and grows like a forest. So do that with the right season. Despite watering it every 3 days, my seed was late to sprout. I was getting a bit angsty. But then I saw this little bud coming up. And then it was even bigger. And we had been successful. For the spirit of walk in the rain, I had a little bit of filming of the park during pretty heavy rain, I would say. But I thought it would have been amazing if I had a bit of longer walk. This was a very short one. Little commercial break. I made a stamp card for these specific reference blogs. So if you follow the link in the description, you can get the document with the stamps and put them in and collect experiences. The food. In Ghibli movies, food is really important. And I made a little menu of things that appear in the show, like vegetables and caramel candy. And I'm making a corn soup for the symbolism of corn in the show.
So the cat bus was what really delayed this vlog's production. In terms that I really wanted to visit a local museum for transport, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna draw a bunch of buses and maybe make them into cats, kind of similarly to cat buses. I did draw, and we did manage to get to the museum. The problem with the museum, it was closed during the cold season, so I had to wait it through. So that's literally what delayed the entire production. So we did go there. It was probably worth it anyway. We got quite a bunch of buses. On some of them you can go up. In either way, they're mostly toll buses, and then I really tried to turn it into cat bus. It didn't turn well. But I think the entire bus vibe in general is really close to this movie anyway, and I hope you're not too much upset with that.
So we visited a local transport museum. It starts with more industrial type of transport, so I wasn't as keen as we entered, but once I found the buses, it felt really appropriate. But either way, there was like all sort of market transport, milk transport, as you can see, ambulances and firefighters as well. And I thought I'll just add it on anyway to share what I think. Otherwise, if this if it's not this vlog, I wouldn't have explored it. So I think it was really great opportunity to see what is locally. And yeah, and once I found buses, we spent quite a big chunk there. And this is the buses, and it's so old, and I love it. I absolutely love that sort of metal breaking through. And on some of them, you can come up and watch a little like theater rolling about it. Also, all ticket machines and all that, and trolley buses, which don't really exist in every location, I would say. And most of them were very tall, and I really tried to draw them and try to draw them sort of like a cat bus version of my own, but it really failed. And I think partly because they were so tall in structure. So and either way, they were inside. Some of them really like not meant for tall people. Very very condensed areas. Some of them were horse pulled as well, and I feel like I often were looking at the backs of the buses rather than fronts, so it's not always that obvious. If I remember correctly, this one might have been horse pulled as well as the other one, the red one. But this one I will show that there is definitely a horse to it. But it just feels so nostalgic, and color schemes and shapes of it really. So here, this is the front, and we have a little horse mannequin. These are the small models of the buses, and I just wanted to include them. And obviously in gift shop we sell like bus toys and whatnot. And there are my own drawings here. So I made a map of the show and the main areas of the scenes. There is, of course, the bus stop, a lot of rice fields. There is a pond where we find the slipper. There is a Kusakabe residency, and of course Totoro camphor tree. Oh, and a little shrine as well. I wanted the closing artwork to be delegated for this tree. It was a massive canvas to start with, and it was beautifully round. I took a creative interpretation of my own to draw a tree in it, so it's nothing like originals. Entire bottle of paint to just prime the first layer, like maybe 200 mils, and I was working on it very hard. Here's some glimpses of in between results. So let's talk. So the painting is going great, right? I actually really like the lines. I think the sketchiness brings closer to my style. So really like that. That's great. But let's talk about elephant in the room. I broke many crayons. It's like a crayon graveyard.
Right, it was also very visible that I started to get tired of some of the drawing or some of the aspects of this video, and for example, growing the bean part that I just draw this intro wasn't as pretty as some other ones, but I also put a lot of heart into making like a map and like a menu. So, you know, it has bonuses and whatnot, but I think it was an interesting experience. Right, and I hope you enjoyed this. Tell me which scene out of Totoro is your favorite. My Neighbor Totoro is your favorite. What really you brought as experience from that movie is very adorable, very family friendly. So if you haven't seen it yet, then obviously go and watch it. It's on Netflix, if anything. So honestly, it was a lovely experience, and I'm sorry if there's any, you know, concerns regards to copyright or anything, because I try to as much share my redrawn artwork, and obviously I'm calling this as a reference vlog, so obviously it's a reference, and I'm just studying art books I already have, so I think we can, you know, what's the point in art books if you can't learn from them really? So I hope that is forgiven in that sense, but do, you know, feel free to tell me off if you feel so. But here we are. I really love this experience, and thank you for being through it with me, and see you on the next one. Bye.